In cities, you often see people like this guy. Desperate-looking people, often holding signs like this one. It's natural to want to help people like this man, or this woman begging by a road in Salt Lake City. Her sign says she's stranded, in need of help, trying to get home. When drivers stop, she tells them,
I'm from Seattle. I came down here to live with my boyfriend, and he ended up kicking me out a week before Christmas.
You got nothing then?
No, just my backpack.
She tells this reporter from KUTV she's 1,000 miles from home.
It's hard to eat. It's hard to have a place to stay.
But then the cameraman quietly followed her and found she actually lives just 2 blocks away in this house. In the morning, she'd go shopping with a nice coat and purse, and then in the afternoon, she changed clothes and walked 2 blocks to the highway off-ramp and took out her sign. People gave her money.
About $3, $5.
Doing the math shows she made more than $50 an hour.
I just felt sorry for her. A girl out there like that.
I gave her a couple dollars.
She lives in a house. What do you think about that?
That is crazy. I live in a trailer.
Dude, people pull over. I don't say anything to anybody. I hold this sign. I don't make anybody give me money.
It is true that she doesn't make anyone give her money, but lots of people want to help those who seem to be in need.
I got it.
But lots of America's beggars are not needy. They're just freeloaders who've found a good racket. When I first reported on freeloading, I wondered, would these people holding "will work for food" signs really work for food?
I just can't work for anybody.
Would he flip burgers at Burger King?
I wouldn't do it. It's a monotonous job.
Maybe construction.
I can't do it. My back.
He says he would do janitorial work.
That I would do.
But will he do it 5 days a week?
That I can't do.
Why not?
Well, why should I? Why does a human have to work every day if he don't want to?
I have lawn work.
Do you? Do you have some right now?
I offered jobs to 12 people who said they'd work for food. All 12 said they'd come, but only this man did. He did the work, and we paid him $20, but he might have made more money begging.
There have been estimates that earning $100 a day panhandling is easy.
Steve Malanga and Heather McDonald write for City Journal, a magazine about urban policy. They say beggars today are hustlers.
But there must be a lot of them who are genuinely homeless or mentally ill, desperate people.
Well, every big city has food kitchens galore. The reason that people are on the streets asking for change is overwhelmingly drugs and alcohol.
I wasn't homeless, you know? It was just an easy way to get money.
John Buster used to make a living panhandling.
And the best day? Maybe about $150.
Did he have trouble finding a job?
I didn't look for no job.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That was my job.
Panhandling as a job is common in some places. Here in San Francisco, packs of young, healthy kids beg for spare change. Spanging, they call it.
Gotta survive, you know? Gotta eat, gotta drink.
An art student from Stanford interviewed some of the kids.
Wake up in the morning, and start drinking, go to bed, do it again. That's pretty much it.
They have the most deep-seated sense of entitlement that I've ever come across.
We want to be able to sit where we want to.
This is our home, man. Nobody's gonna make us leave.
Punishing homeless people for being homeless when insufficient shelter space is unavailable.
America's so-called homeless advocates often say government should solve this problem by spending more on social services, shelters, subsidies for affordable housing, jobs program.
This is a solution that is utterly irrelevant to these kids because they're not planning on settling down. They don't want housing.
Really rely on the generosity of others, and there's some very generous people.
There sure are.
Thank you so much, sir.
This beggar collected $8 in less than an hour.
Past minimum wage. Can you help me, ma'am?
That's me with a beard.
Thank you.
Since people wouldn't give John Stossel money, I hired this makeup artist to transform me into a beggar. She glued a beard to my face. Then I put on some old clothing.
You ready to freeload? It's the new John Stossel.
I hit the streets and started begging. I didn't want to get in anyone's face, so I didn't beg aggressively. Most of the time, I just sat on the sidewalk. At first, I tried the basic homeless and cold, anything will help sign.
Little help?
It worked.
A little bit?
This woman gave me food.
Oh, thank you very much.
A little food.
I even got offered a cigarette.
No, thank you.
This man gave me some change and a job offer.
Listen, if you're looking for a little work, I need somebody to hand out flyers. You know, if you're around, I'll see you tomorrow and
Here?
give you some work, yeah.
Thank you.
After half an hour, I switched to this sign.
Can I get a beer?
I'd seen beggars trying this more honest, or you might say funny approach. I didn't think anyone would give this guy money, but I was wrong.
Thank you.
You know, I'm a beer drinker myself.
Yeah, thank you.
I made just as much money with my beer
Thank you,
sign
sir.
as I did with my cold and homeless sign. Some people wanted to take my picture.
That's funny as hell. Can I have a picture with you?
Sure.
My girlfriends will think that's too cute. I'll buy you a
Okay.
beer.
There you go.
You get it? Jenny gonna crack up.
We caught up with the people who gave me money, gave them their money back, and asked them, why did you give?
It's kind of cold outside. I'm pretty cold myself, so I'm thinking about his situation.
I don't know, that guy looked pretty needy, I suppose.
I just begged for an hour, but I did well. If I did this for an 8-hour day, I would have made $90, $23,000 for a year, tax-free.
That easy money is why cities are filled with panhandlers.
Individuals respond to incentives. If that incentive includes giving them money for no work, there'll be more of them doing that.
And the people who give,
They're doing a very bad thing. They are merely perpetuating somebody's misery. As long as they can stay on the streets getting money for drugs and alcohol, they're going to. And they're enabling a very self-destructive lifestyle.
You're just right-wingers who are not compassionate. Some of these kids, adults, must be in need.
Some are, but the proper solution for that is not to keep enabling a lifestyle that eventually is going to lead...
by? Just ignore them?
Yes.
That's the advice city agencies give. Give real change to the homeless. Call us. We'll send an outreach team to help.
Give to charities. Don't give to people. It doesn't get through.
A few cities, this is Athens, Georgia, try to get through to people by installing fake parking meters. They call them homeless meters.
On the parking meters, it says, you know, don't give to the panhandler. If you feel a need for compassion, put it in here. We'll make sure it goes to people who really need the money, and the money is used in the right way.
Resources do exist to help the truly needy. Food kitchens are plentiful. One charity I like is the Dough Fund. They helped John Buster put panhandling behind him. Instead of giving handouts, they retrain people to take responsibility for their lives.
They don't allow you to get food stamps or anything or nothing like that. That's not allowed in the Dough Fund. They want you to be independent.
They gave John room and board and paid him to clean streets. Now he supervises others.
You don't have to wait around for somebody to give you something. You go out there and you make your own money. You know, you get your self-esteem back.
Because happiness comes from productive work, not freeloading. But at least beggars don't force anyone to give them money. Other freeloaders do. Corporations and politicians do that. And some lawyers do that.
If John Stossel goes back to wherever you might have grown up and you decide to farm and you go in to get a loan, you're going to do pretty well. You're a white man. But if you sent in a neighbor of yours who happened to be a black man to your local county committee, you're not going to do well.
Because they're all racist?
Pretty much.
So he sued the government on behalf of black farmers. The government issued a groveling apology.
We are requiring full civil rights training for all of our employees, starting from me down.
And the United States agreed to pay $50,000 to any black farmer who could show that the department discriminated against him. People in Congress said things like,
they need to start writing checks today.
The government is writing billions in checks. But farmer Jimmy Dismuke says it's a scam because lawyers told people anyone can qualify for $50,000.
People say, well, how do I qualify? And then they started talking about the potted plants. And they said, if you had a potted plant, you're a farmer. And if you have a yard and you fertilize, you're a farmer.
Dismuke showed us a list of people who got money.
This one is not a farmer. This one's not a farmer. And then you go on and on these pages. This one, this one, this one, this one, this one. Not farmers.
We called and left messages for the people on the list, but no one responded. Dismuke was discriminated against, and he collected $50,000. But then he noticed what he calls the fraud. Since the government had few records, it settled the lawsuit by agreeing to write checks to people who just said they'd attempted to farm.
Attempted to farm could mean anything. My little 3-year-old grandson could have attempted.
How could you lose? There's no way you could lose.
Othello Cross.
Jimmy once hired this lawyer, Othello Cross, who's made money by filing thousands of $50,000 claims.
This is the termination agreement.
Cross says he only learned about the fraud after the claims were paid. People would come up to him and say,
Lawyer, John never farmed in his life. His daddy never farmed. When I went back and looked at it, it was true. Mm-hmm.
And so more than $1 billion was given out to about 15,000 farmers and attempted farmers. So many claimed they were farmers that recently Congress approved another $1 billion plus for more claimants. This farmer, who didn't want to appear on camera, showed us a building where many people who said they attempted to farm filled out claims.
They wasn't really farmers, but Al Pyrie made it possible for them to be eligible by coming in and saying if you attempted to farm, that you are eligible.
Al Pyrie, he's that lawyer who won the big settlement.
How many farmers have you helped file claims?
Oh gosh, thousands and thousands.
How do you know they're farmers?
Well, they fill out the forms, and we hope that they're telling the truth.
So you don't think this is just an opportunity to freeload, to cheat?
Although there are some people who cheat, most people are very honest. Most people are very, very honest. They're afraid to cheat if they're filling out a federal form. It's not quite what you think.
But given America's culture of entitlement, some don't even view getting checks as cheating. They say all black people deserve reparations.
If you are an African American, you're due $50,000 because your roots are in farming. You folk have already been cheated. You're just collecting what your grandparents didn't have the opportunity to.
After all, says the lawyer, the government is racist. He says the USDA
is stacked against minorities, stacked against blacks, stacked against women, Native Americans. It's stacked against everybody but white men.
Is there any minority that wasn't discriminated against?
Not to my knowledge.
So now he's filed lawsuits for all those groups, including the women.
In 1978, women owned just 5% of all farms. By 97, the number was up to 8%. Maybe you should sue for men.
For what? For white men?
Yeah.
White men don't need any help.
How much money will you get?
We were paid very modestly.
$10 million?
Yeah, around there. It was very low. And
low? I don't think $10 million is low. And Othello Cross says the total lawyers take was much more.
Somewhere between 40 and 50 million.
I believe the lawyers made out real well, and I think they was the winners in the whole lawsuit.